Right. Another week, another Centre Circle podcast.
What's the episode number? Come on, John.
You told me, man. 78.
76. Come on.
But we've all got our roles to play. As usual, I'm joined by Adrian and Key, and we've got a special guest today, friend of the pod, Kieran. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Kieran, I don't know how we're friends because he's a Spurs fan. But yes, we engage, much like everyone that comes on this pod, we talk about football 97% of the time. And yeah, I thought it'd be good to have him on and his experiences. And he actually works in the game as well, don't you?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I wanted to come over. I'm not sure if there's ever been a Tottenham voice on here.
There hasn't been. That's the only one I trusted.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've come to the right place. But, so that was my first role. I'll always be Tottenham first. But yeah, I work for Charlton Athletic on their for their women's football club on the commercial side. So if there is any overlap and I can give any insight to anything, I work with the men's team as well. So who knows? But yeah, trying to make my way in that world. So I'll try not to say anything too stupid today.
What was the point of you coming in? Right, but today we'll do our usual Premier League roundup. As I always say, the Premier League doesn't disappoint. So we've got the Arsenal draw at home to Liverpool. Crystal Palace beating Spurs at home. Chelsea, again, home win against Newcastle. Another loss for Manchester United at West Ham. And then we'll round up the rest of the Premier League games. We want to talk about El Classico that happened. We're recording on Sunday, that happened yesterday. Probably the first El Classico for some time that people were actually interested in watching and was going to be a decent game. Did not disappoint, but not for the reasons I thought it wouldn't. Then we're also going to talk about games being played abroad. So the league game being played abroad piece has been mentioned a few times, but looks like the league are actually going to go ahead and actually do it. Liverpool's contract situation with a few key players, I actually think that's something to be discussed as we head towards January and they can start talking to other people. Van Dijk was asked about it yet again today. I don't know what people think will happen if you just ask the player every week the same question. I don't know what they think is going to happen. Going to touch a bit on Spurs and the end story so far. Again, as is with everything these days, it's very reactive. So, you know, if Spurs win this weekend, then he's the new Pep. If they lose, he should get fired on Monday. I think it would be good to have a balanced view in the studio today. And lastly, I saw a graphic in the last couple of days about the top 10 highest paid managers in the world. And Mikel Arteta was second. And I don't get it. So we're going to talk about that as well. All right? But first things first. Arsenal 2. Liverpool 2. Frustrating. Keith, talk to me.
I think a draw was a fair result.
Yeah,
I think if you look at the balance of play of the match, I don't think how you can disagree. You can.
I'm playing. I think it was a fair result, but I'm not sure we think so for the same reasons. But go on.
So, I think Arsenal started pretty well, controlling the game. I think when they scored, I wouldn't say it was against the run of play, but I wasn't sure how Arsenal were gonna kind of penetrate.
Yeah, and it was still in that part of the game where the teams were feeling each other out.
Yeah.
So that kind of long ball and then the finish.
Yeah,
it caught me a little bit by surprise. I was still in my face of this game. I was like, oh shit, go.
Yeah, I was the same. Like it was a good ball from White, Robertson.
I feel for him.
There's nothing you can do there, innit? Like that's all Saka for me. Like
VVD could have come over and helped a little bit.
No, I said that's Robertson. Nothing he could do.
I think he was.
We can get to VVD.
The cutback nutmeg was a bit too easy.
Yeah, I think what it is,
chance.
Van Dijk had too much confidence in Robertson. So I think he thought, oh, he's just gonna keep him down the line. Yeah. I'll get there when I get there, innit? Like, but Saka was just too wily for him.
Then the finish, because those near post finishes, I'm always a bit
top draw.
Really, there's nothing keeper could have done better.
Nah, the pace on it was like sometimes you just got to hold your hand up.
You know me, near post finish, I'm always asking.
No, but I think that's unfair though. the near post finish argument, because I think sometimes the shots hit so hard, so quick, so early, the keeper can't set.
I'm just asking.
No, I disagree. When I hear fans and commentators and pundits always going, "Oh, on near post, he shouldn't have been beaten," but if he's hit it first time or really hard and fast,
with pace.
I agree. The keepers are biting back on that as well now, and they're saying that exact point. It's a shorter distance, and if the players this good, if they hit it as they can, you don't physically have time to react. You might be in the way of it. You probably won't.
Yeah.
Narrative's changing.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Thing.
Fair enough. Yeah, I do. Look, I think Robertson's defended could have been better, but it's one of those situations where the attacking and the play was so good, it just made him look bad.
Yeah.
Like the touch, the nutmeg, because he was beating on pace anyway. Foot race, he's not beating Saka number one. But then you kind of know that. So when you see Ben White shaping up for that, adjust yourself. That's my thing, right? Adjust yourself. Give yourself a little bit of room to be able to attack the ball when it comes over. And then once he's got in behind you and he's driving to the baseline, you are at the mercy, because he can go both ways. That's the challenge with Saka as well. So if you try and cool down, someone said, he should slow himself down. Well, he slows himself down. Saka doesn't cut back.
Yeah, he just goes past.
He just goes across the box.
Just goes past.
So it looks bad. Everything does in the replay. But I'm not sure how much more he could have done. You could argue the nutmeg was a little bit on the easy side. He could have been a little bit less easy to manipulate in that respect. But once he's beat him, then the finish is
top draw. And then it's kind of still relatively even. I think throughout the whole game, I think both midfields were bypassed a little bit. Like there was no real midfield battle, which I was quite surprised about. More from Liverpool side than Arsenal.
I think Arsenal did that on purpose. And it was funny that the midfield player that had the most touches on the ball from both midfields was playing right back.
Yeah.
Thomas Partey had more touches in midfield than the guys who were playing in midfield.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think that was a purposeful thing from tactical piece from Arteta when Arsenal had possession.
And I think Arteta did make that clear in the press conference, and he said you're going to see a different Arsenal today. Like in that sense, I think he did set up for that. To kind of, for me, it was more of a battle of the wingers versus fullbacks today.
Yeah.
And I think last season it was the battles of the centre backs, how good the both centre back pairings were in terms of Liverpool and VVD and Konate and Saliba and Gabriel. But this today was like the wingers, like Salah and Timber. They had a good battle.
Yeah.
Everyone thought Diaz was going to dominate Partey.
Yeah, Partey locked him up.
And then we looked to the other side, Robertson and Saka, and then Martinelli and Trent.
Yeah.
Do you think Arteta tactically dictated the game? I know it's a draw final score, but tactically, do you think he dictated the game? Was that deliberate that it went down the wings, and you can attribute that to him because obviously they had a weaker midfield?
Yeah, I think if you watch the game, he was hitting the wings as early as possible. And usually we'll go through the middle. But also I noticed, and even if you looked on the right-hand side, Havertz was drifting to the right a lot. He was very wide to get the flick-ons for Saka.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
So I think that was the game plan today that I saw.
But Liverpool were very, very, very deliberate. Like, in that first 20 minutes, anytime anyone got the ball, Diaz. Yeah. They thought that Partey was going to be the weakness. And normally, it is largely Salah. But they said, no, Diaz is going to expose that weakness.
That was the nature of the press that Arsenal were doing. So if you notice, Gravenberch didn't have any time to kind of do what he'd done in the last 10 games, which is get in space and then either like collect the ball and pass it off to one of the centre-backs, or when he does that drop of the top shoulder turn and he starts driving. Like Arsenal gave him no space to do that.
Drive,
and he was, especially in the first half, it was like he was hardly in the game. So I think that was a byproduct of Arsenal's press, that ball being sprayed out wide.
But to your question, Kieran, I think first half, a lot of that was dictated by Arteta tactically. And then the second half, it changed a little bit because then Slot was able to say, hey guys, wake up.
Yeah.
To keep, and VVD said it after, they weren't keeping the ball long enough due to that sort of pressure. And also they were giving away so many silly fouls. Like, it's like every time Saka got the ball, they were just so worried. They just panicked and fouled him, which led to numerous chances on their goal. I mean, the two free kicks, the free kick that Marino eventually scored from was the exact carbon copy of a free kick before. Yeah. Just a little bit closer, and he would have scored that if Partey didn't kick him. No one's realising. So yeah, and I was a little bit surprised. I didn't expect. I thought it was going to be a little bit more. So statistically, it was even possession, etc. But I think control and just attacking intent, I thought it'd be more even than it was in that first half. I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah, Arsenal were more purposeful with the ball, 100%. And yeah, when we got the equaliser, like to make it 1-1, I was like, okay, yeah, cool. We can kind of
Such a sloppy goal.
Yeah, and I think you were caught a bit unawares because Trent tried it with a free kick, a little near post, didn't quite work. But then we got the flick on, and once you get that flick on, and the ball goes into that area, it's like anyone's gamble, innit?
Yeah,
luckily, like
when you watch the
Van
replay,
Dijk was there.
VVD's lost party like a
Yeah.
prime
Yeah.
number 9. Right? He just literally left him, and he's pretty much scrambling. And I guess again, don't want to talk about players who aren't playing, but that's probably Saliba's job, right?
Yeah.
Gabriel takes one big man. He's probably got Nunes. Saliba takes VVD. That's probably Saliba's job.
And I think even when you look at that free kick, that set piece as well, Salah was coming in. Trossard, if you looked at it closely, Trossard fell asleep. Like, so I think it was going to be a goal anyway. Even if it was about to go wide, Salah would have poked it in. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Guy never made a cheeky comment. So before Declan Rice takes the first one that Marino missed, he said, I think the commentator said something about him. No, it was the second one when we scored. Commentator said something about him getting up to kind of orchestrate the Arsenal free kick. And he said, well, they needed him on the goal that Liverpool scored, didn't they? Kind of thing.
Right.
And then Marino scores. And I'm like, that typical Gary Neville nonsense. He was like, oh, he's equalised, hasn't he? He's equalised. I'm like, shut up, man.
And going back to your earlier point, the first free kick that Rice puts in that Marino should have scored, I was like, got away with that one. And then Diaz fouls Saka in the same position, and I'm like, you get a sense when you're watching the football. I was like, they're gonna score here, and you look at the first chance that Moreno missed. You look how Liverpool was set up. I think it was like Diaz, then Van Dijk at the front.
Yeah.
But all the Arsenal people are at the back.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, why have you set up the same? Like,
you haven't learnt your lesson almost.
And I'm old school, innit? I'm a man-to-man marker. Yeah. You got him, and it's clearly a zonal setup, and it just backfired because.
Look, I'm not gonna say which either one I prefer because I think it's really hard.
There's pros and cons for both, right?
I think zonal's too chaotic. As a defender, I like to know, like, I'm marking Kieran.
Yeah.
So wherever Kieran's is, that's where I know I've got to be. If you're marking a zone, the ball's not in my zone.
But I think that varies by set piece.
Yeah.
So for a corner, I might agree with you. With those kind of free kicks, we're all lined up. I do agree. I do think when I saw, because they bunch up at the back, they do like an NFL play almost. Do you know what I mean? They bunch up at the back.
Run forward and
you don't know where they're going. So I did expect to maybe see something a little bit different or someone ask for different information. But everyone's just lined up, looking at the ball, right, I'm going to whip the ball in. If it comes in my area, I'll deal with it. So it's a tricky one, man. Those set pieces are hard, man.
When you're doing what Arsenal are doing with their set pieces, with a designated tactical coach around it, it pretty much is an NFL play. Yeah. You look at it on an A4 sheet, and it's that same sort of the same lines. Stop here, and, it's. And then the complexity behind that of sort of trigger points. If you see him go there, then you have to completely change what you're about to do, and you need to be ready. Yeah. It's in depth. If you can get that sort of education side of it right, which not a vast amount of teams do, then it probably is the better one. But when you're facing Arsenal, who are so deliberate, so thought out in their set pieces this season,
what's that, 27 goals now?
Yeah, 27. Pieces? Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because afterwards, in the studio, I love all pundits. They were trying to make a point of, you can have as many set piece coaches as you want or whatever. The delivery is the important bit. And for Walker, I was like, well done. If that was the case, every set piece with a good delivery would have this outcome. They're sort of, there's almost diminishing the part you just talked about. Actually, it's not. It's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah.
We've played 9 games now.
Yeah.
To have that many goals from set pieces, it's not an accident. Clearly, it's working, right? Yeah. And have the surety of it, and against some of the defenses that they've scored the goals from.
But the consistency helps, and we've mentioned it before, like with Saka's corners, Rice's free kicks. It's just essentially just carbon copy, isn't it? It's just like back post.
Yeah, but that's part of it. If I'm the set piece coach, Kieran, I need you to deliver the ball in this way.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, I'll get you to do it.
And that's the big thing. The pundits are talking like we're still slinging it in the mixer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that.
Hit the penalty spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, corridor of uncertainty. It's gone, mate. It's completely
this 5-yard square box. Declan, you need to get the ball there.
Yeah.
If you do this free kick 10 times, I need you to get the ball in this square box.
And if you can't do it, someone else can.
Yeah.
So
And then
that's
I'll
what
sort
we've
out
done.
everyone else who's going to get in there. And it was interesting that it was Marino that scored it because sometimes I forget about the whole set play thing. And then, then we have two corners. I'm like, oh yeah, he's doing this again. It's like he's got a PlayStation controller on the side or something like that. So yeah, I think you kind of, we get to 2-1. And I remember, thinking, there's another goal in this, and I don't think it's an Arsenal goal.
Yeah.
You know what, before Gabriel goes off, I think if a goal comes, it's Arsenal's.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even before he went off,
I
I
think
wasn't sure.
I think if Gabriel doesn't come off, Liverpool don't come away with a point.
But definitely Gabriel. But I felt this is where Arteta didn't earn his money today because I felt there was an earlier change, and I'm being honest.
What a way of putting it. I love that. You know, his money's
more on that later
It's
on.
a lot of money too. Yeah.
And what I mean by that, I was looking at, I was like, we're down for an attacker right here. We needed another attacking player to come on just to shake up and pin Liverpool back a little bit more, whether that's Jesus or Ethan Ranieri or Sterling. More so the first two I named.
Yeah.
And he waited until the 84th minute
He
to
does
bring
it
them on.
all the time.
And then by that chance, we're hoping rather than actually let's create a chance.
And I don't want him to be reactive to another manager. Slot makes a triple sub. He's like, no, I need to freshen this up. I need to tweak it. He makes a triple sub. You can start to see some of the mistakes. People are tired. They've been working hard. He always waits so long. If he's not forced into a sub, you're not getting any change out of him before the 75th minute.
Yeah.
Zero. And I think we saw a little bit of that today. We weren't able to keep the pressure on the back four because people were tired.
Yeah.
Then you look at the equalising goal. Martinelli is attacking. He's trying to be purposeful. He loses the ball too easily. It looks tired and lazy. And 2 passes later, Salah's in goal. And the carry-on film that is our back four at that point is running around doing, I don't know what they're doing. I actually don't know what they're doing. But I think we paid for that. There's just certain moments you can see where the ball's lost, or someone doesn't hold up as well, or they just get their second in the duel. And they're getting their second in the duel because the guy they're going against has been on 10 minutes.
Yeah. But defensively, I think that was only your real kind of low point in the game, to be honest. Like, I was messaging people
like yours, it matters.
in my Liverpool group that we were getting the ball out wide, and then whenever we crossed it in, it was just getting eaten up by White,
Mourinho,
or Gabriel when he was on, and then Moreno. And then the same like you did with Man City when you had the 10 men, you was not letting anything through the middle on the floor. So it's like we were frustrated, and fortunately
But a little bit of that was, I don't think Trent was at the races today with 99% of his passing. But
is that
one pass?
When you're that
One
level, you
pass.
just need one. And that's why I was having a conversation in another group saying, I think that's what I take largely away from today with Arsenal, right? We still need that world-class level in more places in our team. Because that Trent to Salah and that finish, that's what got you a draw today. Overall play, that's what I said earlier when you said, on the balance of things, a draw was fair. I think a draw was fair, not because of the balance of play, but actually because on the balance overall, players you've got, players we've got, tactics, etc., that's how you get a 2-2 draw because world class, that pass to Salah was...
No, it's to Núñez.
No, sorry, to Núñez.
Yeah.
And then the finish Salah does is not easy. It's still not easy at that point. Even though half my defence was at the corner flag. Still not easy. And the way the game had gone before the previous however many minutes, those are the type of chances that have been getting wide, going over, and he composed himself and he finished it. And that's the difference. Yeah. If we had the same, there were certain moments where we're up.
But do you think we were being a bit unfair? So when I mean by that, in a sense, we look at the injuries. So Saliba was out, Timber to come off, Calafiori's injured as well. So you're talking about world-class moments. Those are kind of high-level players or defenders that are approaching world class.
That's my point. A lot of the world class or close to world class quality in our team is back there.
What, injured?
No, as in defence. We need more of that up front.
Okay, sorry.
We need that more in attacking. So we've invested a lot in bringing up the level very, very high in defence, right? In defence and just in front of defence. That's where all the money is spent. So we just need to add. I think we need to add more of that level. So, we need to get closer to having someone else who can execute at that level. If you take Saka out, Havertz has been good, but I definitely think we need more of that world class or near to world class going forward.
Yeah.
That's
and
what I take from today.
But I think, like I said, prior to this or previously, everyone thought Martinelli was going to get to that level based on his early showings, and then he got 16 goals the season before and etc. So everyone thought, actually, Martinelli's that guy. And then we brought in Jesus and we pushed for second, etc. And then we're thinking, those guys are the nearly guys. And unfortunately, the levels just moved again and they're not anymore.
Yeah, I've had enough of them.
I think Martinelli's time might be up.
Somehow when him gone.
No, there's space for Martinelli. Don't get me wrong. If we can upgrade and get a Nico, I'll do that.
But that goes back to John's point, though, isn't it? You're saying he hasn't shifted with the needle, but there's a space for him. It's a slight contradiction, isn't it?
No.
But space for him in the squad.
No. I think we need to upgrade Trossard and Martinelli.
Yeah, I agree.
Like in the summer, if you want to really keeping up, because I think that's where it matters. That's where in a one-off game or in a cup or whatever, that quality gets you that goal. It matters. We see that with so many teams. It matters. Take it from a Spurs point of view. There's lots of times over the years, you had two basically world-class attackers. The rest of the team could be doing nonsense for 89 minutes, get one chance, bang, goal. Whereas other teams have to work 5 or 6 chances for their striker to score that one chance. So that's probably the main thing I took away from today. Like, Arteta, again, tactically with some of the decisions, and when you've got a certain level of quality in your team, you've always got a chance.
Yeah.
Always. And if we had that, we'd probably make it 3-1 or whatever it is, regardless of the defensive frailties and take it from there. That's what I took away from the game. What about you, Kieran?
I predicted a draw. I didn't think it'd be a 2-2. I'm probably leaning more towards 0-0. It's how I tend to think those top of the table games are going to go in the Premier League these days, more towards a 0-0, 1-0. So it's a better game than I expected entertainment-wise. Where it leaves us in terms of how the title challenge is probably going to be a top 3 this year. Chelsea is still hanging around, but I don't know if I've learned anything from it in terms of a long time. I know we're early on, but in terms of the long-term title race, I don't believe City are going to run away with it this year. I do think they'll probably win it. I don't think they'll run away with it as they have. So I've not learned vast amounts about Liverpool and Arsenal today. I don't really know.
Which if you're a Liverpool Arsenal fan, is good.
Right.
Because it'd have to take some big result either way for you to have learned anything. So if you're a Liverpool Arsenal fan, good. You didn't want to learn too much today.
Yeah.
Well, if you're an Arsenal fan, you wanted to learn more about Liverpool than about your own team today. So that's probably that's good balance-wise. And look, it's early. I think for Arsenal, you didn't want to lose. You didn't want to be that many points behind. But last season, at one point, Liverpool were 8 points ahead, right? So, but and I talked about a few episodes ago, it already feels like you don't want to be too many points behind. But yeah, there's something about City. But we say this every year, don't we? They're just not looking as smooth.
And then Christmas comes, the graph starts to just
Kevin De Bruyne hasn't been playing. He'll come back at some point. The pool is so big at that club. You just need a few people to find form and then the machine starts going again. But yeah, so 2-2, Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. That leaves the table with City, we'll come to them a bit later, leading on 23 points. Liverpool second on 22 points. Arsenal third on 18. Aston Villa fourth on 18.
Arsenal not third.
Chelsea. Chelsea jumped.
Got out of the table there, bro.
This is the Premier League website I'm looking at, mate.
I've got Arsenal third.
Yeah.
Oh, because we got the point, but...
Yeah, exactly.
I thought
we got the point.
What table was I looking at?
I'm looking at live data.
Sorry, I apologise.
Shocking.
Sorry.
Anyway, Arsenal 18th, Villa 18th, and then Chelsea on 17 points, 5th. Yeah. It's getting tight. Brighton are 6th with 16 points. We'll talk about them later. And Big Danny Welps. Moving on. Crystal Palace 1, Tottenham 0.
Over to you, Kieran.
well, before that, first talking point, I guess, is this whole Eddie Nketiah Mateta thing. So I had a bit of an interesting debate with one of our friends last week, and he raised it again this week about, well, look, Mateta was on form, he was doing his thing. why are they persisting with Nketiah? I said, well, when you pay that kind of money, and he's on those kind of wages, the whole point was that he was going to play, and they were going to try and find a way to blend the two of them. Anyway, as football likes to do, it doesn't start today, they flip and win. So I guess that's it, man. Just play Mateta, you win. And he scores, and that's that. No, but in all seriousness, I think there's going to be an element of, is there though? I was going to say there's going to be an element of kind of bedding in, but it doesn't have to be. Some strikers turn up and they hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just isn't of the level that I think he is.
To Eddie?
Yeah.
Oh, you know my opinion.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. All right.
And
Eddie.
I said it in another group. Eddie's not starting today. I thought it'd be a point. I said Palace is going to get something out of this game, and I think the system they're playing, which is the 3-4-3,
yes,
3-4-2-1.
Yeah, 3-4-2-1. Yeah.
You can't have Eddie as the focal point.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
For me.
I think they need to commit to allowing some time for bedding. Obviously, the ideal situation is you wouldn't bed him. I mean, he'd come in and start scoring instantly. But when you spend that amount of money and you are Crystal Palace, it's it's not said to be insulting, but they don't often go out and spend vast amounts of money on theoretically exciting transfers. Signing for someone from Arsenal for Palace is centre forward from Arsenal for Palace is a big deal. But I think they've got to give him some time. But if they've got someone who's doing the job, you can't then sacrifice.
Well, you'd have done the analysis, right? So we play well in a 3-4-2-1.
Yeah.
You'd have done the analysis, and either said, for Eddie to work here, we need to change it a little bit, or we think he can do this job. Now, I don't have the analysis, but one of them is 6 foot something. The other one is not. The other one likes running behind. The other one likes to hold up the ball. So I don't know what the analysis said. So, but then maybe he's got a challenge with the players he's got, the setup he's got. Actually, that formation that allows Eddie to flourish doesn't necessarily work with the rest of the team. So it is an interesting one for me because if you remember, I was shouting loudly he shouldn't have stayed at Arsenal the time he did.
Yep.
And when he came to the end of that contract and he signed that big $100,000 a week, I was saying, leave.
Yeah.
Go to a Palace. Go and play. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'd be a Rebels agent because now he's here. It's not, I know we're only 9 games in, but it's not immediately looking like he can, I don't want to say slam it, but it's not working out at the moment. At the moment, right? But anyway, look, Palace at home, from a Spurs point of view, Mikey Moore starts on the left-hand side after playing like Neymar apparently in the week.
Maddison's done him no favours with that. It was
at all.
It was. If you watch it, it's definitely a joke. But as soon as it's written down, and Maddison ain't the most popular geezer outside of Spurs anyway, people are going to go, look at this idiot. Look what he's saying. But Mikey Moore starting is the highlight of the day as a Spurs fan because we've got an exciting 17-year-old playing at least in the Premier League. And it's well deserved. He's in the 3 games I've probably seen him in. He's done better than Werner has done in a year and a half at Spurs. So I want to see more of him. I think on the left hand side, Sonny is the first choice, but Mikey Moore behind him ain't the worst thing. So that was nice to see, and he played okay. He wasn't as good as the other night against Alkmaar, probably because he's playing against a better team this time. But beyond that, there's not. Today's performance, there's nothing really positive to report about Spurs. No, and it's happened a few times. Obviously, second half against Brighton's an obvious one because that's a whole capitulation in 45 minutes. But there's been a few performances that we've had this season and back end of last season as well, where I don't like using this term, but Ange ball just doesn't work on the day. Whereas it worked last week and we won 4-1 against West Ham. This time it just didn't, and I can't work out yet what that trigger point is of today it's going to work. Today it ain't going to work. Yeah. And there is nothing in between those two things. We hardly ever draw a game.
Yeah. You're one or the other, right? Yeah. Because if you look at the stats, you had 67% possession. Your pass accuracy was way higher than theirs. You read this, you'd almost think that Spurs played at home. But as you say, in the end, they had double the shots on target you had. They had more shots than you.
Yep.
So again, the crucial stats, the more intentful stats, they had more of.
Can I jump in? So I've said a couple times, I think the moving Kulusevski back and having him and Maddison with just one essential DM has kind of thrown off your balance a little bit. And I think it's worked really well for Kulusevski because I think he's been your player of the season so far. But it just seems like...
Not Brennan.
No, not really. I think that's kind of set Maddison off balance a little bit because it's like he's got to do a bit more defensive work now, where kind of last season, before he got injured, he was just that number 10 who was just free to kind of, not have a free role, but he was... And I think...
And he's probably further up the pitch when you regain possession.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference now.
It's all 100% spot on, but it's only become this way because Maddison didn't perform in a Spurs shirt for so long. The first 10 games last season, where we played really, really well, Maddison was central to all of that. Up until the Chelsea game, the famous Chelsea game, we went down to 9 men and he got injured as everyone else did. Since that Chelsea game, you can count the amount of really good performances Maddison's had on one end. And beyond that, it's been quite anonymous. You know, a lot of analysts and stuff will dig out some numbers and go, no, he's doing brilliantly. Look at these underlying numbers. Like, I'm watching it and he ain't.
He's got buzz on the eye test.
My eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, that's Maddison's problem to... If it's affecting his game negatively to have Kulusevski in there, he needs to start playing so well that he goes, no, give me that 10 back just for me. Because when we do that...
It's almost like a bit like a Cole Palmer thing at Chelsea, right? So he has a free role. If you watch them play, he's literally everywhere, picks up the ball from everywhere. But you have to earn that trust that more often than not, you will take care of the ball, you will be effective with the ball, and things will happen because of you.
Yeah, it doesn't just happen. You know, most recently we've had Harry Kane was that guy for us.
Yeah.
He had to earn that. Yeah. He didn't come in when he was a kid and we had Adebayor and Soldado standing around waiting to get on where people go, give it to Harry. He had to earn that over a number of years at Spurs and become Mr. Tottenham as he did, which is what Maddison sort of seemed like he wanted to do at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think that makes it sound like it's a bit of an attitude thing. I don't think it's an attitude thing necessarily, but something ain't working for him and he needs to get it back sharpish.
And I don't know enough about Ange's previous teams, but that, to your point about having kind of the two defensive mids and now transitioning to kind of, you know, one
single pivot.
And then, yes, exactly that. Is that almost actually the way he would like to play? And he kind of did that last season because of what he had? Or actually, is he seeing what he's got and saying, you know what, to your point, well, I can't sit down Maddison to ascend because actually you still want to give him a platform to try and grow.
Yeah.
But I've got Kulusevski here. Here's a schema that allows me to do that. So I don't know enough about his previous teams. Is the single pivot actually what he wants to do? Because we do know he's an attacking front-footed guy.
Yeah. So that's a bit of a misconception with Ange, as I understand it, is that it's not a tactic that he carries with him through his career, and that's the thing he won't shift from. It's the philosophy that he won't shift from. That no, we're going to keep trying to score and keep attacking. But the tactics itself, he can be quite flexible.
Okay,
so he'll, as I understand it, and I'm not pretending I've watched any Brisbane Roar games in my life, but as I understand it through people who have watched those sorts of games, is that he'll always tweak it with what he's got, and it's the philosophy that he won't ever shift from. Tactically, he's happy to move around.
Do you think, for Maddison in particular, it's about love? Because what I've noticed, there's a lot of games he's coming off around the 70th minute, the 65th minute.
Half time last week.
And there's a bit of like, actually, he may not be feeling the love from Ange, and then he's like, he doesn't know what type of performance to put in to gain back the love. So then
I'm not having that.
No,
you don't know what type of performance to put in.
No, but I understand what you said. But if you know, I'm not going to stay on for the 90 minutes, you might start dropping off around the 60th minute. I'm not saying it's right.
No, wait, okay. Let me not jump. But you can see why I'm struggling with that as a concept.
But and the reason why I say that, because later on we're gonna have a discussion about two strikers. Yeah. No.
Yeah, we are.
Not but two strikers and their connection with the managers and the difference it's been since those managers have taken over for them. Yeah, okay. So there's something around players being loved and nurtured by a manager, and could that be an issue here?
I think you are onto something. I think I don't know if I agree. He's not sure exactly how he should be playing because he's not sure when he's going to come off. I mean, that should be fairly set of how he should be playing, whether he's going to come off or not. But I do think, and I hadn't really considered it until you just said it, that he comes across at least as the type of personality who does want that love, certainly from the fans and also from his manager as well. He's very out there. He's outspoken. He's always willing to be in front of camera, do stuff, sort of silly videos that the fans are going to see, and he thinks they're going to find it funny. He's not shy of the sort of celebrity side of it. So I think he is open to that. And I think the best he has played at Spurs those 10 games, we were singing his name every single week. We were excited to have him there. He was supposed to be the big signing after Harry left. And it hasn't been the same since his injury. So I think actually you probably are onto something there that he reacts well to that feedback from the crowd, and he's not getting that at the moment. But yeah, it's not an excuse. Professional, so he needs to.
It's an interesting one. I mean, I've been a big Maddison fan. When there was a time where it was almost a bit like you either buy Grealish or you buy Maddison, etc. And I've always felt like Maddison has more to offer to the game. He can do more. That was always my view. And we talked about him before he left Norwich. Yeah. And we said, well, why do clubs like ours possibly wait until he's gone to Leicester and then you've got to pay however much you got to pay at Leicester? Yeah. He's not helping me out at the moment, to be fair. But this happens in people's careers, right? We're 9 games in the season. We could be in December having a very, very different conversation. But to your point, I think it's carried on from last season almost. There was a tail end. He was injured for a period of time. But I think if you look at the bigger picture of the England team, right, and some of maybe what that team doesn't necessarily have in the middle, he could be someone, if he's playing at the right level of performance, that could answer a couple of questions for them. He could bring something different to that team. So it is interesting, and I don't know what's going on with him, but the reason why I bring a lot of that up is because, again, does Ange get the time? Because I think you're almost in a very similar place we were with Arteta a few years ago. I say we were. I had my axe out for Arteta. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know this, right? Yeah. So, and now it's like, well, if you had got your way, John, Arteta wouldn't be here by now. I could argue we could have got someone else who might win the league. But anyway, does he get the time? Because I think players like Maddison are crucial to Maddison's not going to be sold tomorrow. Yeah. So those are the kind of players that are crucial to your transition. He has to almost make it work with Maddison to help his project get along. Yeah, because
then you got the youngsters underneath him. Like,
exactly.
Is it
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So bringing through Mikey Moore and stuff is good. I think he's been great with Johnson as well, and making sure he keeps playing him, etc. Do you see the Ange? And you know your chairman as a Spurs fan better. Do you see the Ange project, as I love calling it, being given the same kind of similar time as other managers have been given? Or do you think he's on the same 2 or 3 year cycle, make it good or you're out?
I see him getting potentially slightly longer than you'd expect someone at Spurs to get. Because we're not close to something that Levy's going to go, I need to get that, i.e. top 4, really. Or close enough anyway. Normally, Levy pulls that trigger when ultimately there's prize money at the end of it, for want of a better phrase. But if he's chasing 4th, because that's 100 million quid for the club's balance books, then he'd cut it and go, right, let's get someone. That's how a Mourinho hires.
Yeah, and then
that's how you get to that, or Conte. But because Tottenham, for the last few years, hasn't been particularly close to 4th should be ours. Let's go and get it, so we get that 100 million in, then we can build from there, or put it in our pocket, whoever you are. But so I think he will get longer, and Ange only signed a 3-year contract, so we're actually already halfway through. So that to me makes me think: Do you?
That was going to be my next question. How long was his contract?
Do you stick with it and just sort of actually see a project through this time and sort of go, at least we saw it through, rather than knocking it on the head 3 days before a final or whatever it is and going, it didn't work, never mind, don't ignore that. So I think he will get a little bit longer. There's not vast appetite from the fans to see him gone. There's murmurings, and if you go online, it's louder, but that's not real life, in my opinion. So I think he will get, certainly this year, I think Ange will get. And I think he'll probably be around for the beginning of next year as well, barring a disaster.
And overall, how do you see it? More of a success than a failure?
He hasn't actually, if you just look at sort of league position and general direction, he hasn't moved us forward or back vastly. It was important that he got that Europa League spot last year, I think, although we would always want more than that. But to say, if he left today, I couldn't call it a success or a failure.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I'd call it unfinished. I think.
So what does success look like then?
I was going to ask that.
If he just does his 3-year contract, because again, you know my view on this. It's not. It's It's never one manager that turns it around. It's one and then maybe another one, but it usually comes in threes. If he leaves at the end of this 3-year contract and he doesn't get renewed, what does success look like?
He needs to have won a cup. And he would say that as well.
Fair.
And he does say that, and it could easily get him in trouble if this does all get up in flames at the end of it, as it often does at Tottenham. But he says that. Oh, no, I'm here to win. And I want to win this year. Well, he said that I always win in my second year. This is my second year. So we're winning. He basically said we're winning this year.
I think the Europa League's a good shout for you.
Yeah.
Like, I think Man United would have been favourites at the start of it, but they're kind of falling off the wayside. So, yeah, I think, if you look at the competition, I think if you don't get to the quarter semi-finals at least, I think Andrew would be like, well, what's gone wrong here?
Yeah.
But that's that for me.
And can I ask a follow question on that though? And I need to word this in a way that doesn't look like it's masterly just because I'm an Arsenal fan. But so there's the long running stick of you guys haven't won anything.
Yeah.
So does he have to win something because he's a Spurs manager and that's been a long-term goal, win something? Or are you saying for what he's been brought in to do, the players he's had, that kind of context, he should be winning a cup?
Anyone who comes in as first team manager under Levy, where we are right now, that will be over their head. Is that if you're going to leave here as a success, mate,
you be the one that changes
you need to win something for us.
Fair.
That's where we are now. You know, it's slightly different because he joined Chelsea. Pochettino, you know, no one bothered whether he comes back for watch a game and come on the big round of applause. Don't really care or not. Amazing 5 years, best 5 years I ever had as a Spurs fan. But he didn't win anything, so we need to that was not a success. And we need to keep going. And the point you made, if Andrew wins the Europa League, it's not just, oh, well done, mate, that was a success. He will leave as a legend if he picks up that cup because it's a European Cup for Spurs fans. And
take you to the Champions League.
That would be enormous.
Well, then he doesn't leave.
Yeah, and he also doesn't leave. But you know, if he picks up a league, a Carabao Cup, that would be nice one, mate. Cheers. That was a success, but we're going to carry it. We're going to crack on.
That Twitter account will have to shut down or start resetting.
That website.
Okay, no, that's interesting because I think the biggest thing for the Ange appointment for me is there now a shift in mentality to what you talked about. We're not going to do the blockbuster thing, which is a little bit where we didn't have the money to do it anyway. But, you know, actually now he's going to do Ange, and however long that goes and where that brings you as a club, then he's going to go more in there, you know, who is a modern, new ideas manager that can now take up, you know, Johnson will be X amount of years in the team. Mikey Moore's probably the first team player at that point, blah, blah, blah. Rather than saying, right, we had Angie got us to here, where's Tuchel? Or where's, do you know what I mean? And I think that's probably the biggest thing to see out of this. What direction does Levy then go? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's assuming that he's going to be. I think it's a separate conversation. Really. I think Levy's on the way, or as close to on the way out as he's ever been.
Oh, really? Was it setting the club up, or actually just leaving his post?
Club ultimately being sold, and he'll do a long transition, and then he'll be gone. But I don't necessarily think Levy's thinking in that. Oh, if this doesn't work, who's the next manager at this point? I think he's thinking keep the value up. I'll get it shifted, and that's my life.
Ooh, that could be interesting. So it could almost be like another Ineos situation. Someone else comes in and says, "Thanks, guys, but I'm doing my own thing now."
I've always given Daniel Levy a hard time for the job he's done at Tottenham on the football side, but I would be as nervous as anyone when that day comes that they go, he's handing over and he's gone. And it's like, to who? Hang on, slow down. Keep Daniel. Keep Daniel.
Because it's never been that smooth. Even us going to Kroenke family, etc. That wasn't that smooth. That took a long time to figure out, and they made mistakes hiring and all that stuff. It's not a smooth ride. That could potentially disrupt any progress or not, or whatever Ange makes, right? And pulls it forward. Yeah, true. All right. Moving on to another one of your favourite London rivals, Chelsea. Mm-hmm. Chelsea 2, Newcastle 1. I mean, I'm getting tired of talking about him. But Cole Palmer, he almost made it like the Cole Palmer show within 4 minutes of the game starting. I put Chelsea in my prediction for top 4. Some people, Adrian and Keith.
Rewind. I put them in my top 4 too.
You did.
Oh, you did, didn't it? Yeah. So when I said it, why did you both look at me like, huh? Do you put them in your top 4? Are you sure?
Positive. We got it on tape, bro.
Oh no, yours was that Liverpool were going to win the league. Yeah, that was your crazy one. Yeah. Anyway,
it's not looking crazy
but they are looking all right. Their defense we'll have a conversation about that. Their defense is actually mad. And watching the game and proper sitting down and watching them today, anytime the ball goes near the defense, you can't predict what's going to happen, which is not good for a defense. You want it to be really relatively consistent. They're good at dealing with balls in the air, or like you say, Arsenal, they don't allow things through the middle, whatever. Nah, the ball might bounce a bit to the left, carnage. Colwill, all your support I have for you is gone, bro. Sorry. Do you remember how Gabriel was 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago where he felt like he's always going to make a mistake?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Levi Colwill right now.
Shaky.
He is erratic.
And there's something around stability in that as well. So what I mean by that is Cucurella's come out. I'm not sure why he's come out of the team, if he was injured or something.
He was injured, but now he's available.
But he was on the bench today. Reece James has come back. To be fair, Reece James saved him twice off the line today. Was it twice or 3 times?
He was at fault for the goal, though.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, so then that side, and then you got Fofana who's carrying an injury. I just saw that knee bandage up.
To John's point, Chelsea look very good going forward.
Always.
And you can see why we potentially put them in our top 4. But they will
The
always give you a
goalkeeper.
chance. Like Sanchez's kicking is awful. Like
again today.
Every game I've watched of Chelsea, he's put like 2 or 3 into the crowd or off the pitch, like under no pressure. And you're like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time where I've seen a team that's, potentially playing at the top end of the Premiership, where it's such a Jekyll and Hyde. So as soon as the ball leaves the back 4 or leaves the defence and goes into Caicedo or Lavia, it's a different team.
Yeah.
You're watching a different game. There's control. The passing is good. It's intentful. It's accuracy. I mean, that Caicedo and Lavia partnership.
Dope.
Yeah, I like Lavia a lot. I thought,
And I said,
Liverpool were right. Logically, Liverpool were right to not pay that money for him at the time. But now you're looking at him thinking,
I would have paid it.
Like he's
worth.
yeah.
And from last season, I think people wasn't respecting Caicedo because of the price tag. But
Yeah, he
actually,
did play
towards
very
the end of last season, he was putting in the performances that everyone's respecting and recognizing now. So towards the end of last season, I was like, no, actually, he's intercepting, he's blocking, he's making the right, breaking the lines with the passes. Actually, and then look at this season, like, everyone's like, oh, no one's talking about him. But like you said, that combination, that partnership, is serving him well.
And then Madueke, good form. That's got him in the England team. And then Cole Palmer's just, I don't know, man. The guy's
That pass. I was like,
the pass was so good that the commentators were calling it an assist, even though he didn't do the assist.
Yeah,
pre-assist, did it?
Yeah, that pass was crazy. And sometimes we've all played football. Sometimes you do something, and other things make it look good. Like the defender steps too much one way, and then the ball goes. Nah, before he got the ball, you can see on the replay he looked so where Neto was, turned, looked again, and hit it. That pass is unreal. That pass is absolutely unreal. Just the way he plays the game, like I said, he takes responsibility. So for someone so young, he takes responsibility, and that goal epitomizes that for me. Because if you look at where he receives the ball, facing his own goal, and he still said, "I'm gonna attempt this pass." Very risky, but he at his young age, he's not afraid to do that in a Premiership game. I think it speaks volumes to him.
Yeah,
and he has to be one of the first names in the team sheet now for the England team. He's at that level
for the England team.
Yeah, he has to be. Who's better? Who should be playing before him? I don't think Foden's in the form right now.
No.
He's affecting Premiership games every single time he plays.
Yeah, but you got to play to his strengths, though, innit? And I
That
don't want to
license.
dwell on England, but like it's hard to mold a team around one player who's not levels above everyone else, if that makes sense. So like he's good amongst his peers, and he's often shown that he's kind of outperforming them. But he's not that far ahead of everyone else that you build a national team around him, in my opinion.
I would argue that the level at which the consistency at which he affects games is levels above a lot of people in that team.
Then
Saka,
Bellingham
hasn't been affected much this season.
I
but
understand,
overall,
but Bellingham,
yeah.
They're still trying to shoehorn Foden in, and then Kane's still in there. So that's why I don't think he's the first name. I'm not saying he shouldn't be the first name.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He should be now.
Yeah.
I think England, again, not to digress, but I think the England team performs better if you just look at what works today in the game today
So him in the 10, Saka ride wide,
Yep.
and then someone on the left.
Whoever's supposed to be playing should just play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like having that freedom around and trying to fit everyone in doesn't work, right? There's very few people that have to play. Harry Kane is one of them.
Mm.
That's it.
Stones.
Declan Rice, John Stones. That's it. And Mr. Pickford.
I don't know about that.
He's got to.
But anyway, back to this game. So yeah, look.
Yeah, talk about goalkeepers and their post. This goal. Oh, mate.
Well, first I was going to talk about Nicholas Jackson as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because he got a lot of stick last season. And again, I was saying, he just needs a bit of composure. His movement is, for the back four, his movement is very annoying. He's quick, doesn't stop running, really strong. His hold-up play was quite good. Just like to be a composure. And even the goal he scored today, I know Netters put it across the box. But that was the kind of chance last season. You weren't sure if he was going to score. Yeah. Is he going to underhit it? Is the keeper going to scramble across the post to get it? But I think he's another reason. Everyone talk about Cole Palmer, but he's another reason why Chelsea's attack has been a little bit more formidable as well. I think he's starting to show what the underlying numbers show that his previous club.
With Chelsea, I think I'm not surprised that going forward they're looking all right, because just the sheer amount of talent they brought in, I think going forward is naturally where that would show. Defensive is a lot more structured, a bit more of a sort of, well, it's a unit, isn't it? You need to also be on the same page, whereas attackers can sort of be individual and they'll still link up because they're clever and it's just how they play together. My question for Chelsea would be that how does it go with that many elite players and egos, personalities around the place, all the guys who aren't going to be getting on the field? How does that start to affect things? It's uncharted.
Do you think they
ground.
had that much of that problem when so many of these players are that young? If
Well,
they
I
were a
don't
bit
know.
older and maybe had a bit more, bit weightier CVs, that could have been a massive issue.
Maybe, but I think it's completely uncharted ground.
Yeah.
We
don't know
from where we are. I don't really know, and I don't know how the manager's gonna. How does he handle it? How does he handle somebody?
I think he's quite ruthless, because even this week leading up to the game, he was like, Reece James has got to show me why he's a leader. And he even kind of dug out Colwood a little bit, saying, I need to see more from you. So in that aspect, I don't think he's worried about upsetting the apple cart.
Yeah,
I think also them being in the Conference League helps them as well.
Yeah.
So in terms of the competition spread that they've got, the fringe players, so like your Mudryks and your João Felix, they're gonna.
It's funny that they're fringe players. I forgot.
Yeah.
About them.
So they know they're essentially gonna get one game a week.
Yeah.
And I know they potentially might want to play in like the Premier League and stuff, but I think that will kind of help with game management, because
and Kunku's on the bench as well.
Yeah, Cole Palmer's not registered for the European team. I don't think
for this European phase.
For the league phase. So I don't think it's going to be a problem at the minute, to be honest. I think if they were in the Champions League and you have an important game after important game, then I think it might be a bit different. But I think for this season, I think he'll be able to manage it. Because they know what they're signing up for when they get there.
But I'm with Kieran as well, because and the reason why I'm with Kieran is on this one is because that's a lot. Like Nkunku, only so many games you could be giving me 15 minutes. Because when I was at Leipzig, I was playing.
Yeah. I was affecting games.
I was affecting games. I was
Jackson shelling.
No, but that's not the point. If you believe, because he believes in his, because if you believe in your ability, I'm not going to sit here. Oh, John Shelling in the game. I want to show you. Give me the time to show you.
But that's the reason why I asked my question, because if you think about it, you got Cole Palmer, you got Fernandes, you've got Nkunku and Cucurella, João Felix possibly, and Sancho, right? Now, the last two, you're kind of not last chance saloon, but Juventus and all these guys aren't exactly knocking Chelsea's door down.
Yeah.
You're right, Nkunku's the kind of guy, well, I was injured for a bit. Now I'm back fighting fit. If I'm not playing, agent, get me out of here in summer. Right, because I should, you're starting my career a bit. Mudryk, I think his only way is down from here anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So it's Enzo, Fernandes, and Cucurella actually. I think to where your point starts to land and be like, well, I've just won the Euros. I did very well.
Mm-hmm.
I know Maresca's trying to cultivate this, this whole competitive thing. Everyone's earned their place, blah, blah, blah. I think he's going a bit too heavy-handed with it. If you ask me, all this public criticising of players, I don't know how long it's going to last. But I just think the other players, a lot of the other younger ones, Badia, Shaw, all these other guys, you know, to be honest, that will work with them. Earn it. You're at Chelsea now. You're not back at Leo or wherever you are. But yeah, there are 3 or 4 players who, on reflection, now we've talked about this, they will probably have to move on.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to get enough games. You know, all it takes is for another Spanish left back to start doing his thing. All of a sudden, I'm Cucurella, I'm at the Spanish team, etc., etc. So yeah, it's interesting. But big picture, it looks like it's coming together. If they get Champions League this season, it's a big FU to everyone that was talking rubbish about, you know, how many players they're buying, how much they're spending, blah, 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 all this stuff. It is a little bit.
Yeah.
Kudos to the manager. How sustainable it is, I don't know.
Does it need to be Champions League from then on for that to work?
Yeah.
They can't do what Newcastle did. They can't just flirt
No.
and then go back.
No.
Like, I think they get to Champions League and
They
then
got to be in there.
you buy a new goalkeeper and a lead centre-back, and I think they're...
No, not lead 2 centre-backs. They need about 3. They need 3 centre-backs.
I generally think I think if Saliba or Van Dijk or Gabriel is at Chelsea, you can play Colwill, Tosin, or Badiashile.
No.
I generally think you can. I think they just need that lead centre-back. I don't think they
I'll
need
be
2.
honest with you. I don't think any of their centre-backs are good enough. None of them. Seriously, I watched them. I'm like, no.
One of them just
even
needs
if
a handheld across the
you
road.
can put them next to VVD, they're still making the same mistakes. I'm telling you, I don't think any of their centre-backs. So that's the issue: the centre-backs and goalkeepers.
But yeah, but you're right. I think you get there, then the project has to start bearing fruit there, right? Some of these young players you've bought, it's 2 seasons later now.
Yeah.
It's 100 appearances plus. Also, the other side of it is some of them, you've given them a platform. Oh, I'm not playing. Okay, you can go. I'm going to go to Lyon or PSG or someone. Yeah, they're paying me 40 million for you when I paid 20 million. That's where the other side of the thing start to work. Right? That inflation. But I actually think, it doesn't look as mad now.
No.
Right? The idea was good. I think the execution was a bit scattergun, and if they had done a little bit more in football, they might not have done it that way. But it's still mad, right? The training ground still looks like pure gym, but it doesn't look as crazy. Because it's just like anything in football. You can be as crazy as you want. If it's happening on the pitch, everything looks... It starts to look a little bit more sane.
Yeah.
You know? But then they sign... Cole Palmer's contract runs to 2029 or something stupid now or whatever. So they just do little things that make you realise. But look, they're doing it, you know. And if I look at their fixtures, I'm just trying to think in terms of who they've played and what's coming up. If I look at their fixtures...
Well, they've played City and Liverpool. They didn't get any points, but they're kind of games they can write off.
They got Newcastle in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. Then they've got Man United away. That's not a great game for Man United, by the way.
No.
Then they've got Arsenal at home. Then Leicester away in the league. And then Villa at home. So we'll start to see the metal. Yeah.
After those 4 games, you'll see what the picture is.
And we're getting to this point where, you know, I keep talking about it, but they always say every season statistically, 10, 11 games, the league doesn't change much.
Yeah.
So we're almost there now, right? We're almost there, and then everyone's fighting for just to move up one place or down one place or whatever. So they're 6th now. They're 5th now. And then Arsenal and Villa above them are on the same points, goal difference, right? So they're right in the mix, and they're 1 point below that. So they're right in the mix. Right in the mix. But yeah, another effective game from Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson. Interesting on the left side there with Neto and Sancho. Maresca's definitely doing that whole, if you perform, you'll play piece.
Yeah.
Neto was all right today, but he looks interesting in a team that actually has most of the possession, not a counter-attacking team like Wolves.
Yeah.
Where his pace isn't it's devastating, but if I've got the ball most of the time, then you need other things as well, right? And he has to stand up against two players who's getting double teamed, etc. So that's interesting to see how, if or when Sancho comes back into the team. And then as for Newcastle,
I think you're being unfair because they were knocking the door in the game and they could have got a point.
I didn't say anything yet.
No,
he knows you well enough.
I know what he was going to do. That's why I said, nah, God.
You can't do that big huff and then go, they're brilliant, aren't they? They're brilliant.
No, they were just... What I find with Newcastle that is interesting is almost like they're brawler. I think I said it before. They got the physical element, and he's built a very athletic and physical team, and then he's tried to stick the speed and maybe the guile on the outside. So Harvey Barnes played today. I'm a big fan of. Obviously, Isak, etc. He's been a bit quiet for a bit.
He just came back from injuries.
Yeah, exactly. But I just think they need a bit more than that now. Like, not people have figured you out, but you want to be playing in the top 4. They were trying to get back in the top 4. They want to be hovering in around the top 6. It's gonna take more than that. And I know Tonali just coming back. He was out for a while, but again, that Guimaraes, Joe Linton, and Tonali midfield. I think they need to dial down a little bit more on the.
Have a bit more guile.
Yeah, and I think that they'll get more out of the other parts of the team.
Yeah,
Isak wasn't bad today, and he was causing a lot of trouble, but they just didn't have enough. They just didn't have enough, in my opinion. I mean, Almiron's still starting Premier League games. That's not a top 6 level wide forward. In my opinion, that's not someone that moves a dial in that direction.
Yeah.
So I think, but obviously they've got FFP stuff and
exactly.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
It never took off as quickly or in the way everyone thought it was going to be. But obviously that Champions League qualification made it look like it had taken off.
Yeah.
So I think perhaps we're judging them a little bit harshly in the bigger picture side of things because of that Champions League little micro Champions League appearance.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, they're still heading massively in the right direction on a longer term thing. It's just they're not of that Champions League quality that we thought they might have been when they got it so quick.
Yeah, and they might need to be just a little bit cuter in the transfer market as well, because other people have found gems, and
because their plan clearly must have been, we'll just go there and we'll just buy everyone and win the lot, and then very quickly it went. We don't.
No, but I don't think that was their plan.
Anymore.
I don't think that was their plan, and I think contrary to popular belief, the people who are running the club for the salary, for the wealth fund, you have to answer for the investment. It's as tough as, in some ways, I won't mention more tough than working for a normal club owner. And even when you watch that documentary, and they're talking for the players, and they have the constraints. I think where we'll see the might of them is other things, stadiums and all that, all that kind of stuff. And being able to attract said manager. So I think the manager after Eddie Howe is probably going to be a little bit more blockbuster than they might have done before. Even if it's a young manager, they have to be a manager with a name, but they're going to be able to maybe go out whoever is the really touted young manager at that time or whatever it is. So yeah, maybe. But I just think that even without money, we've seen teams be pretty astute in the market. And I just think they've still got a couple of stale areas in their squads. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
You like that word "stale" and Newcastle, don't you?
Because I think it applies. Jacob Murphy's. Anyway. Just saying. West Ham 2, Manchester United 1. Eric Ten Hag. You know how to make me smile. What's going on? Because West Ham, they're not exactly riding a good wave.
No.
To be fair, Man United absolutely peppered them.
Yeah.
Right? They were all over them. I counted 4 clear-cut chances, and not like all actual chances. Bruno misses a header right in front of goal unmarked. Good Darlow beats the keeper, has an open goal, has a couple of defenders sliding in, blasts it over the bar.
Yeah.
Hit the bar a couple of times. To be fair, Fabianski made a great save off a set piece as well. So 2-1 is probably a little bit deceptive.
Yeah.
But Man United fans I talked to recently, in their really, big defensive, Ten Hag will say, we've been making chances, we've just not been finishing them, etc. And that all kind of came to fruition in this game today. Literally came to fruition in this game today. And the fact that the first goal was scored in the 74th minute, kind of says it all.
They're struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. That's the main issue. I think they scored like 7 league goals this season.
Yeah.
Like to be nine games in, and not even just Man United, just being like a Premier League team to only have scored 7. And I think the stat is like across their games they've had 26 big chances, and only converted 20, or only converted 4 of them. So they're creating the chances, like you said. It's just they're struggling to put the ball in the back of the net, which can be like a multitude of things.
I mean, even Wolves, who are 19th, have scored more goals than them.
Yeah.
The only people that have scored less goals than them are Crystal Palace, from what I can see briefly, are Crystal Palace and Southampton. How much was Højlund?
60?
Yeah.
How much was Erchi?
30, 34.
35.
Yeah, it's just not adding up. I don't see how Ten Hag keeps his job.
Yeah, and I think it's at the point now where you can't just say, oh, it's the players not performing as well. Because like you say, they're creating the chances, etc. It's because he's not getting the best out of them. He doesn't know his best team.
Yeah.
Despite spending X amount of millions since he's been
forgetting
there.
who he played number 10 in midweek.
That was crazy. Like playing number 10 on Thursday and then left back on Sunday, like it's mental. At a professional club.
Premier League club.
That is crazy. So yeah, he doesn't know his best team. It's like his substitutions are weird. It's just, I think you could put any other competent manager in his role and they get a tune out of those players.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't work. Like you go back to Emery and Arsenal, just didn't work, innit?
Yeah.
I know he's won 2 trophies, whatever, but in the league format, the
and it's interesting. Man United fan was like, "Oh well, the finish is not up to him." I said, "Hold on, you're the manager. If I'm seeing the stats, we create X amount. We're doing finishing drills every day. Yeah. I'm telling the coaching staff because the thing I always struggle with is things are going well. He's a great manager. Yeah. If they're not going well, there's always an excuse that it's not him or it's disjointed for him. Yeah. It's him. He controls that ship. On the other hand, for Lopetegui, this is an important win.
Yeah, he needed it.
He really, really needed it. He got it via a slightly dubious penalty. And we're back to this point again of what is a clear and obvious mistake. For those of you who haven't seen it, there's a coming together in the box. That's the best way I can put it. There's a coming together in the box. And I think the lit does clatter the player, but at full speed, he could go either way. Yeah. You know, you could see Adrian and say penalty. I could say be like, nah, it's fine, coming together, bro. VAR get involved, and yeah, when you do slow it down, you could say he didn't get the ball. His knee goes inside the player. It's a pen. My issue is it wasn't clear and obvious error. It was so super subjective. Yeah. And we've got this challenge now where we're not sure what VAR is going to get involved with or not. Yeah, and that's not what it was supposed to be. And I think we were talking off mic earlier saying, I think they should just say, right, if it's in the penalty area, we're getting involved. Yeah. That's it. Not clear and obvious and it's rubbish.
It's in the penalty
I'm getting
area.
involved.
Yeah.
Oh, something in the penalty area. I'm going to have a look. Kieran, I'm going to have a look quickly. Yeah. Because what's clear and obvious to you is different to what's clear and obvious to me. And it's just crazy. Then I went a little bit overboard and I said, if I was a ref and I even thought it was 10% the penalty, I'm giving it. Because they're going to check it anyway. Yeah.
But as I said,
but you said the other way, right?
Yeah. If I'm trying to imagine, I'm in a stadium. It's the 93rd minute. I'm at the Emirates, and I need to decide whether that was a penalty to basically decide who wins this game. Yeah. My mind, the way I'm wired, would go, don't give it, and then if it's really obvious, he'll just give it for me. Yeah. So stay out of trouble. And I'll get in my car and drive home safely afterwards. I'll brush my hands of it.
But you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if VR gets involved, you should have seen that, you should have called it, you should have blown. You're not winning.
But they're not winning. Yeah. They're not winning, but I think a lot
But you think that's the less of the two evils?
I just think a lot of people, the safer option in a big stadium, high pressure, is to go, you know what, I won't give anything, and if it's drastically wrong, I should have given it, they'll take care of that for me. Whereas if he does give it, then there's an extra... It's harder for the VAR to overrule than to go, oh, you got that slightly wrong, we just need to give that penalty there. Yeah. So on my mind would always go, don't give it, and they can take care of that, and that's their problem. Do you know what I mean?
And it's for them to say I made a clear and obvious error. Because I didn't give it. So then they have to say, oh, actually, you've missed that. So you leave it on them to say it's clear and obvious, and then, fair.
Yeah. It's just passing the buck, isn't it? Go, I didn't see it. Sorry, lads. Did you see it? You did.
Yeah.
Didn't they do that with our Man United against Hull? Remember, the game had finished,
Yeah.
And then the game had finished. And then they brought him back out to take the penalty and United won, remember?
No, it was Brighton. Brighton, wasn't it?
It was United. It was Hull. I think it was Brighton or Hull.
Yeah, Brighton.
He blew the final whistle.
Yeah, the game ended.
And then the game ended. And then they were like, oh, we've got a VAR check. And then they came back out.
They would not do that now. That would never happen now.
No, but to your point in saying let VAR deal with it, that's what
Yeah, that's what,
That's the referee saying someone else sort that out.
Yeah.
That's
There's no better solution for me than just getting rid of it altogether. But
I like. Have you heard Gary Lineker's solution?
Go on.
Make it more a bit like how they do in tennis and cricket.
Just challenge.
Yeah, you've got 3 challenges a game or 2.5 or whatever.
They can still get it wrong though.
I think we should
they can get it
wrong.
wrong.
But I like the idea, but I just think get rid of it.
But the thing is, like,
I don't enjoy it.
The tech is good. It's just the application of it. That's where we're going wrong.
You're never going to rectify the application of it.
So
You're never going to rectify the application because the humans are still going to make a judgment call.
and you know my views on how Harry's running that organisation, so I'm not even gonna.
But you can't blame Harry Webb for the VAR officials making bad calls and missing calls and etc. So.
No, but he heads up the organisation. It's his job to make sure that whole thing works better. Officials at a certain level, etc.
I think one thing you can definitely say if they had gone early on the whole thing. When the one I'm thinking of is when last season Tottenham versus Liverpool was a VAR disaster. Spurs won. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. But then they released the footage. There's that whole thing. They released the tapes and all that. And they went, all right, fine. And they're all calling each other mate. They're calling each other nicknames like Dicko and stuff like that.
Good job.
What are you doing?
Yeah, good job.
Putting millions of pounds on the line. Talk to each other by your proper names and your job titles.
Make it official.
Talking over each other.
We're in the office. Like, this is serious. Yeah.
And on that point, there was when there was the VAR check today for Moreno's goal.
Yeah.
They done a shot in the VAR van or whatever.
Yeah, they started to do that now, haven't they? You'll see them the van. They're not in a van.
Stockley Park. Down in Stockley Park.
They're in a van outside the stadium next to the burgers.
CCTV.
They had a camera shot of them in the Stockley Park, and one of the guys got their phone on a stand, and the Fantasy Premier League app open.
You're talking rubbish.
Bruv, it's doing the rounds on Twitter. And I was like, Howard Webb's just like, come on, guys, isn't it? Like, what are you doing?
The thing is, I feel for them because they're normal football people, innit? So he's thinking, he's going to score. But please, use some common sense. You're on Sky. Don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it.
Just wait, because it's not going to change until after the game, is it? Like,
shouldn't be allowed their phones in there anyway.
Yeah.
They could be looking at a decision. He could go on Twitter quickly and go in there and say that penalties.
It's true.
Obviously, no one would actually do that. But
you're right.
Let's have a process. Let's have a proper thing. This is sport.
Millions of it's fully focused. You're 100% focused.
It sounds extreme, but it's akin like. Look at it like you want to prevent any insider trading or anything like that, right? Like literally.
Yeah,
he could be making bets on the game as
it's going to,
and I can affect that.
Yeah.
That's mad.
So yeah, that's definitely gonna get called out in some respects.
That's mad. All right. And there's just a quick roundup of the rest of the results for yesterday. Let me see what we haven't covered. Leicester lost at home to Nottingham Forest 1-3 on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm gonna make the point about that. Go on, continue.
No, go on.
No, I was gonna say because Wood's got 2.
Oh yeah,
I see you put him in your dream team point. By the way,
excuse me, he's been in my team for a while.
Right? No, he hasn't. All right, because I'm leading the league table.
Oh right.
But however, what I was going to say, I think they brought up a stat that Woods has got 18 goals now since he's gone under the management of.
Since Nuno's arrived, I think he's the 3rd top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
Behind Palmer.
And this is what, when I was highlighting about relationship with players, look at that. He's come in and look what Woods is doing. And actually, we've got to give Woods a bit more respect. Because remember, Newcastle signed him and he kept Newcastle up.
Yeah. He was the first one. He was the first signing, wasn't he?
And then of the Saudi era? Of the...
Yeah, he was the first
I don't know if I'm imagining. There was almost a point where it felt like he was good enough when they bought him. But it's a new era now.
And we want Isak and...
It felt a little bit like Pep getting rid of Joe Hart.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've got that in my brain, but when it was time... it was when they bought Isak, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It almost felt like, thanks, mate. But we got a new young
shiny new toy. Buzz Lightyear's alright.
Buzz Lightyear. You're Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And then, but it was just, and they should have kept him now because Callum Wilson can't stay fit for love nor money. But however, that's what I'm saying about relationship with a manager. They click, and he's got a system that works, and I think he's got 18 goals under him.
Crazy. Right, then we've got Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 1. A 96th minute equaliser there from Bournemouth. Evan Nilsson. You're on my hit list now, mate, after the Arsenal game. Brentford 4, Ipswich 3. Another one. 96th minute equaliser. This game was a proper back and forth.
Yeah.
Wissa's back. I thought his injury was long term.
Yeah, I told you that,
but yeah, finally
back
he's
with 2
back.
goals.
I saw an interesting stat about him.
Yeah.
His non-penalty goals. You know, there's an acronym for anything. So he's NPG. In terms of the number of games, is higher than Ivan Toney's. So for per minute and how often he plays, he scores more goals at a higher rate.
And he's got,
People
got,
say,
well, 5 less goals.
Yep. Didn't they buy a striker to replace it? They spent.
He got injured.
Yeah, but he got injured,
didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was big money for Brentford. They don't
Yeah.
normally. It was like 40 or 50 million or something, which is not big money these days, but it's big money. Yeah, for them. And he got injured. But yeah, 4-3. That was a really interesting game to watch. The lap scores again. And Buemo with 2. Coolest penalty I've seen in a while. Literally just walked up to it and then put it top bins. very, 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 very cool. Brighton 2, Wolves 2. Listen, yeah. You know, in football sometimes things like you blame someone, say, "Oh, he lost the pass there," and then no. This was the actual epitome of it. So it's 2-2. Danny Welbeck scores to put Brighton ahead. Then Evan Ferguson, again, he just come back from injury. I haven't seen him in a while.
Good goal.
Really good goal. Control turn, bump corner, old school number 9.
First goal in 33 games as well.
Yeah. Then your guy, Enuri, scores for Wolves. Then it's 2-1. It's the 92nd minute, I want to say.
Yeah.
Wolves are pushing for the ball. Brighton player, I can't remember who it was. It's good on the right-hand side. It is 4 on 1. 4 Brighton players, 1 Wolves defender. The Wolves defender is approaching him to close him down. And he can't make that pass.
Yeah.
He passes the ball across.
Straight to the Wolves.
Straight to the Wolves
That's
defender.
right. It was Doe who intercepted it.
Yeah, straight to the Wolves defender. Wolves break. And Cunha scores from that break.
Yeah.
I would have just changed in the car park.
Yeah.
And gone home. It was unbelievable. It was literally 4-1 and we thought, right, they're going to wrap
The
it up.
pass was incredible.
It'll be 3-1, etc. It was a great pass. That was a great pass.
Did you see the banner in the crowd? Something like Doyle is Wolves Perlo or something like that.
But yeah, it was just it was one of those moments where it literally it was 4-1. Everyone's in disbelief. The commentator and their manager's a bit mad. So I would not want to be him
in the
changing room after. Crazies. But yeah, 2-2 Brighton Wolves. A little shout out Danny Welbeck. He's on a bit of a hot streak.
And again, a manager in a relationship. He's taken over.
And he's
fair. What's it? Is that 6 goals or 7 goals now?
Wherever it is, it's more than he's probably scored in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Manchester City 1, Southampton 0. Shout out to all the people like me who thought they were being clever and triple captain Haaland. I thought they were going to demolish them. I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be over. But yeah, Haaland scores in the 5th minute. And it seemed to be a pretty uneventful game. A Man City fan told me yesterday that they are now boring. Those were the words.
Now?
Yeah, well.
Okay.
But it's 3 points. They march on. Pep was very complimentary of Southampton afterwards, saying they're one of the best teams he's played against. Pep says this stuff.
And Bernardo said it as well.
Did he?
Yeah,
Bernardo
yeah.
praised their pressing and...
Yeah. To be fair, I was thinking about this and I think the praise was in game. I think they just played well that game.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, they're a good team overall. Well, they're not because they're bottom of the league, but they had a good game.
To be fair, Cameron had an early chance to put a dent in, and again, it's that quality. The commentator said, well, you're not going to get that again. It was a bit rude. But he was right. He was right. So 1-0 Man City, another win, 3 points. The rest of us ended up drawing. Everton 1, Fulham 1. Great finish from Iwobi, actually.
Quality.
Good assist from ESR as well.
Yes. They're building a little... I think we'll say they're building a decent little team there. Like a Europa conference, you get in Europa League and use that to build your team. I think Silva's very quietly and slowly building a decent team there. He just needs to that Traore, man. Every time I watch him play, I still don't get it. I don't think. Yeah, he's fast, but how does he get to this level of football with that level of output? How?
That attribute of being fast. No one wants to.
Yeah,
You don't want to play against someone that fast.
But it's so bad. There's loads of fast players.
No, but it's just that, and 1 out of 7 crosses is going to set up a goal.
It's mad. It's actually, anyway. Yeah, another. That one there was a good finish. It was near post, but Iwobi's basically used 2 or 3 defenders to disguise it. Yeah, it was really good. And then Beto, I forgot he was still there. 94th minute, again, another last minute equaliser. It's a bit like Keith said for the Arsenal one, the ball's gone in the mix, kind of in that penalty spot area. No one's marked him and he's planted the header. Yeah. So Everton have been unbeaten for some time. I told you, they're not going down.
No, I agreed.
I told you, they're not going down. By hook or by crook, they will not be in the Championship playing in that stadium.
Nah, they've just got enough quality, I think. Yeah. But what's interesting, I'm hearing some pundits now question Calvert-Lewin in terms of actually...
only now.
Yeah.
But I think before it was always when he plays, he's good, but he's just injured. What did they say? Availability is the best ability or something?
Yeah.
That's a saying. It's a little bit unfair, but in this case...
But now he's had a run. And
he's not scoring, he's not... They're just saying...
But someone that's the kind of manager, he would take the other bits, right? That he gives to the team. His hold up, etc.
Remember, he kept Harvey Barnes for how long?
That's true.
So
That's true. All right, so that's the Premiership roundup. A quick one on last night's El Clasico. It's been some time before anyone's wanted to watch El Clasico because Barcelona have been rubbish basically for a few years, going through a bit of a transition. Their latest manager, Hansi Flick of Bayern Munich and Germany fame, has gone in there. He hasn't added many players, if any, but he's got a nice mix of La Masia players. Yeah. He's got Lewandowski, who is playing like he's 29, and a very, very, very reborn Rafinha, who has been pulling up cheese recently. So yes, they beat Real Madrid 4-0 at the Bernabeu. There were 12 offsides for Real Madrid. 8 of them were Kylian Mbappe. That might be the worst. That might be the worst Madrid performance. I'm not saying I watch it perennially, but since when Ronaldinho went there, remember, and even the Real Madrid fans were clapping him off.
Standing ovation.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but obviously, you got Bellingham, you got Tchouameni, you got a modern kind of Galactico style team. To be getting beaten 4-0 at home by Barcelona is crazy. Did anyone see the game?
I just watched the highlights.
Yeah, no, I watched it, and the funny thing is, it was quite even to start off with. Like, it was quite an even game, and like, if Mbappe holds his runs a little bit,
8 times,
then the outcome of the game could be different. But the key thing for me is, like, you look at Barcelona's midfield, and like you got Lopez, Pedri, and I think it's Casado. Like, they're all in the early 20s. Casado, they're like 20 or 21, and then you got Lamine on the right, who's just turned 17, compared to Madrid, who have got established.
Yep. Valverde, Tchouameni, Camavinga, Bellingham.
Like, the confidence that Flick is showing in these kids, well, not kids, but like
it's true though.
In their infancy, in their career, and they can go to the Bernabeu and put in these performances unfazed. It's like, you got to commend them.
And there's 2 performances by them, right? Because against Bayern Munich, they also turned up.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Bayern Munich in the week as well.
So I think.
And then he brings Frankie de Jong off the bench. Dani Olmo, who did well in the Euros, and then Gavi, who's back from injury. The people that didn't come on, Ansu Fati, they've re-signed Szczesny as backup keeper.
Yeah.
So, and then you look at the Real Madrid bench, Luka Modric came on, Fran Garcia, Brahim Diaz, Arda Güler, Endrick, Dani Ceballos still hanging around. But this Mbappe thing is starting to build momentum now. And someone made a point, I can't remember who it was, I think it's Isaac, made a good point. He said, Real Madrid didn't need anything, but you added Mbappe anyway. Like, there wasn't an obvious gap or hole, but you added him anyway because it's Mbappe and it's Galacticos. Whereas Barcelona could probably name 3 or 4 positions where they needed people, but they've added them from La Masia, or worked with what they've already got.
Yeah, like
and now
Rafinha,
you're worse.
like
Yeah.
he's a captain. I saw Rafinha with the armband.
Yeah.
And he was meant to be sold in the summer. So yeah.
So look, is Mbappe overrated? Is he getting found out?
No. Like we had this chat in the group, innit? Like his stats are showing that he's performing, so to speak. But with him in the team, their balance just looks off. And I think they need to fix
found
it.
a formation that
like it's the shoehorn thing, innit? Like he's not a 9, innit? Ultimately, but he's not good enough to replace Vinny. So
but he's not good enough to replace Vinny. He's overrated because
he has been overrated.
Yeah. If you're saying he's not good enough to replace Vinny, then he has been overrated because he has been talked about as heir apparent to CR7 and Messi, which is basically the best player in the world on that side.
But then for me, I don't think he's overrated. I just think they haven't found a system that allows him to flourish or allowed all the team to flourish as a unit at the moment. And it's just kind of putting them together. It's like the old Galacticos, isn't it? We just put them on and they're all going to perform. And now it's like, we're back here. So I think if Ancelotti finds a system that allows him to interchange and go as an 9 and go as a wide left forward, and I think it might be something really magical and really special. But maybe Ancelotti's not the person to do that. And that's it. So I don't think it's fair to say he's overrated. Because you don't do what you've done at Monaco, PSG, and for international team, and all of a sudden you're overrated.
I don't think he's severely overrated, but I do think that if he doesn't do what he's done elsewhere at Real Madrid, then he hasn't lived up to what was expected of him.
But didn't Bell struggle at Real Madrid initially?
Who?
Bell, when he first
but
moved.
Bell never came with that expectation.
Bro.
No.
He was off the bat as well.
Yeah, straight off the bat, he was
scoring
solid.
cup finals.
Yeah.
I think that weren't it the first few games he was out of the races. I'm not
but
saying
even so, but like you can't compare a Bell signing to Mbappe. Like
how much was Bell then?
No, but I guess in terms of profile in the football world, Bell was nowhere near what Mbappe is. That's what I mean.
Yeah. And let's be honest, that transfer fee was a Levy transfer fee. You have to put asterisks on it. He just knows how to drive a good deal. Yeah. It wasn't like because Bell was because Bell was good and he had that 2 legs with Inter Milan, So, but to your point, he didn't have the same expectation and stature in the game as Mbappe's got. I think it's a combination of 2 things.
And did CR7 start off great as well?
At Real Madrid?
CR7, come on.
Straight away. I think he struggled the first few games.
No, not at Real Madrid.
I think we've got to look back on that. I don't think he started off great, and then like it might have been.
You had to quantify the first few games. I know what you're like.
Yeah, like 2 games or something.
Yeah. You think I know you. But I think it's 2 things. I think one, Ancelotti and the coaching staff are primarily to blame. They need to make the big decisions. So you got Mbappe. If you need to drop Vinny for him, right? Or find something that works, right? You have to make those big calls. It is what it is. Or you have what you have now. You just putting all the chess pieces on the table and it's not working. But there is a little bit of it is Mbappe's performance is not at the level it was, right? So we can talk about structure all you want. When you're 1-on-1 in front of goal, you finish the chances, right? And you do that stuff. So, but for me, at the moment, the blame is largely with Ancelotti and his team. They got to find a system that works or make the big calls that make it work.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away from it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away from it. And you knew that when you bought it. They both played the same positions. You gotta do that. But yeah, the white handkerchiefs might be coming out soon. And you know when that happens at Real Madrid, it's not a good time. Even Cristiano Ronaldo got it. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Even he got it. So Mbappe, this isn't France anymore, mate. You sort it out. Finish your chances. Right. Just quickly before we end this, I saw a graphic the other day that listed out the top 10 highest paid managers in world football. I'm not going to read the whole list. I'm just going to read the top 3.
I think you should, because
read the whole list.
Number 10 is Dubia. I know we're
Oh, yeah. For okay. I'm just concentrating.
That's what I think you got.
All right.
Read the list.
So I'll start 10 and go upwards, yeah?
Yeah.
Number 10, and again, I think it's important to say whether these numbers are accurate is probably not important. It's more the relative to everybody else, right? So, Vincent Kompany, number 10, £6.7 million a year. Cool. Bayern Munich manager. You understand why I made that point. No, it's true, but it's perspective. Eric Ten Hag, 6.8 million. I mean, that's number 9. Number 8, Arne Slot, 6.8 million. Number 7, Luis Enrique, 7.5 million. This is all per year. Number 6, Al Hilal, George Jesus, 8.4 million a year. Fair play to the lad. Number 5, Jose Mourinho, Fenerbahce, 8.9 million a year. Okay. Carlo Ancelotti, Real Madrid, 9.6 million a year. Number 3, Diego Simeone, Atletico Madrid, 13 million a year.
As well.
I remember when he signed that contract, everyone said it was a big contract, but he's done a lot for that club, to be fair.
Has he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he done
Before him, how many leagues has he won? He's won 1 or 2?
2.
2. Champions League final?
Champions League final.
And like-
Minutes
and all
away
the
from
other-
winning it.
Yeah.
But he didn't win it.
And before him, I don't think that club has reached those heights.
Yeah.
The idea of there
No,
being
they
a
broke the
third-
monopoly, innit? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. He made them.
he got the keys for life, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Plus just tenure. He's done 15 years with them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Near enough. Yeah.
Number 2, Mikel Arteta, Arsenal, 50 million a year. Number 1, Pep Guardiola, Manchester City, 20 million a year. Fair.
Yeah.
So, can anyone tell me why Mikel Arteta is second in that list?
The project.
And do you trust him?
And look,
It's not Eddie.
I'm an Arsenal fan, right?
It's
But
the
I'm not gonna
project.
lie. I saw that list and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
It's not even the fact he's on the list. It's the fact that he's so high.
yeah.
Up the
Oh,
list.
I
If
Like,
he
think
was
he
like
accepts
crazy.
being in the top 10. Yeah.
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 Yes, yeah, top 10, 100%.
But to get
Second,
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
yeah.
That's great. Even if these numbers aren't accurate, even if he's top 5, it's mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
50% more than Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah. Madness.
mental, innit?
Absolute madness. The guy who won the Champions League last season,
Yeah.
he's won 3 Champions Leagues, I think it is now.
I
3 or
told you
4.
what that is.
Hmm?
London weight, isn't it?
Like, his agent is a absolute movie star.
Because that's the new contract, isn't it? That
Yeah,
he's on
yeah.
his second contract.
Yeah,
isn't
but
he?
even with the new contract, even if it was
That-
incentive based, as in he gets
Wins
an
something.
amazing bonus for winning the Premier League, etc. But just based on what you've done today, and yes, you've done a lot for the culture of the club, all that kind of stuff. Everybody else in this league, in this list, has won stuff. Even Ten Hag, he won a league in. He could come and say, "I have been the best team over a season."
And I've won 2 cups.
Everyone in this league can say that. Can say that. Even Vincent Kompany, has he won a cup yet? But even him, you're going to be Bayern Munich manager. Like, your CV isn't that heavy, but it's Bayern Munich,
Yeah.
bruv. Like,
Yeah, they got to give you some.
you gotta. If he was someone who had a heavy CV and went to Bayern Munich, I reckon he'd be top 5 or closer to that, right? But yeah, that for me, I saw it and I couldn't believe it. That's even more reason now for me. He has to deliver.
Yeah.
He has to deliver. You've had the investment like it. You're paid like it. You got to deliver.
But you know what that means as well then. If he doesn't win anything this season, he's staying on.
Yeah, 100%.
And next
Oh, yeah.
season, and next season as well.
Because he signed a new contract in the last month or so.
And,
Yeah.
And also, whoever comes in next, looking at that, if you bring in a winner, like, well, you're paying my guy
Yes.
15 million.
And he won
didn't
one
win.
FA
He
Cup.
won 1 FA Cup.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
If it's someone who's won trophies of late, they're like, I want parity at least.
And what happens if he wins a big trophy, Premier League or Champions League?
Then
He's going to go upstairs. And how much is he going to ask for at that point?
Exactly. and the funny thing is, it
Deliver
won't
the FA
even
Cup.
be immediate. It will be like, he'll get a bonus for that, blah, blah, blah. And then it will be knocking the door.
Next
and
one.
he'll basically be boxing it out with Pep if Pep's not around. In all seriousness, I just think it's just, when you look at it logically, even if you take football, because football doesn't have the same rules as every other job, when you look at his peers and the trajectory, it's madness that he's up there at that level already, pay-wise. I think it's crazy.
I just don't know where it goes. I honestly don't think there's another organisation on planet Earth that pay him anything close to that. I mean, Arsenal is the only organisation, not even in just football, like just everything.
Yeah. There's 2 things for me. One, maybe these numbers are rubbish. But 2, they're not usually that wrong. So, even if he's not on 50 million a year, even if he's not number 2, if he's anything higher than number 7, it's wrong.
Yeah, that's mad.
Do you know what I mean? It's bad.
Yeah.
It's madness. Luis Enrique is a trouble-winning manager. What we did? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah. A little bit of madness of football to finish it off. But yeah, that's another episode done. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Kieran, thank you for joining us,
Thanks
mate.
for having me, mate.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Thank you,
It's been a
thank
pleasure. We will have you back again soon. I will try and get the whole gang back together, and that will make sense when I bring them all here, for sure. All right. We'll see you next week.
Peace.